Okay.
What's going on, man? How you doing today, man? I guess
I'm doing.
it is started.
Did it start?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
It is started. Yeah, it started.
Did it? All right. So I guess it did. So do you want me to turn off my live stream, or do you want
Uh,
what's
I don't. It's up to you. Cause
I mean,
it's
it's
up.
not getting anything. Yeah, no, because it's not. I don't think it's getting anything to me. So yeah, I think I should turn off my own live stream
Yeah,
real
yeah,
quick.
yeah.
Hold on.
How y'all doing, man? This is IT News. I got my brother on the show today, man. I'm on his show. He's on mine, man. I'm gonna let him introduce himself. So I'm waiting for him.
Okay. So all right, what's up, Isaiah? How you doing today?
How you doing, man?
I'm doing good, man. My name is Teodros.
I'm waiting
I'm
for him.
21 years. I was born in Worcester, Massachusetts, but now I reside in the Sacramento area, and I go to Sac State, and I'm 21 years old, and I'm a political science major, and I do YouTube from time to time.
That's good. That's good. I wanted to like conversate with you for a minute because I definitely enjoy your YouTube page. You know, I've been paying attention for a minute. I watch everybody on YouTube, so I enjoy your YouTube page, man. And I would just want to let people know because a lot of the conversations or a lot of things that you talk about, you're a political science major, and a lot of the things that you talk about, me and you are right on the middle of like kind of like the same things. But I want to really like see how are you like? Are you more Democratic than Republic, or would you roll with Democrats?
I'm more in the middle, but I am somewhat pessimistic of both sides, because I feel like
Yeah,
there's no solution. There's no solution in regards to both sides of the political spectrum. That's how I believe personally.
yeah, yeah.
How do you believe about it personally?
It's it's no solution because a lot of things that I see that's going on right now is I don't know to you, but it seems like it's helping. Like I talked to a lot of people from Candace Owens group. I don't know if you
Yeah,
if you
Blexit, yeah.
yeah. I talked to especially so I talked to the guy Leo Dunson from Blitzit.
Yeah.
And
Yeah, no, Leo Dunson is cool. I like Leo Dunson. So,
yeah. I'm a good friend. I'm happy with some of the things that he said. But I'm just so much on Donald Trump breaking the law. That's the only thing I really care about. I I really I know a lot of issues is for African Americans, so we got to think about African American issues. But then I believe too that's a way to limit us because we are Americans. For real,
hmm
we more Americans than we is African Americans because we was here longer than a lot of these white people was. So I feel as
exactly.
though like we are Americans, so we gotta put our voice in American issues. So one of the biggest American issues right now is the Mueller report. And I I know a lot of people get mad at me, especially Leo Dunson, because I stay on this. I believe Donald Trump should be in trouble for some of the things that's happened.
hmm
How do you feel like, especially when like when you hear about the countless of the investigations, the him being meeting with Russians on certain situations. How you feel about certain issues like that? Do you believe he should be in trouble or?
Well, first and foremost, I'm not surprised that he would do this, and I'm not surprised. I mean, he is a businessman at the end of the day. So, I mean, everyone knew what they got himself into when they let him get power anyway. When they put him on the stage, they knew he was gonna win from day one.
With the
You get what
Mueller
I mean?
report, do you believe that he wasn't voted in? He was elected in through the electoral college. So the people did not vote Donald Trump in. So we knew that the way he got in was kind of like a scam. Do you
hmm
believe that the people should fight over that issue? Like, do you believe Because I talked to a lot of people. People like, nah, I don't believe the people should be upset. They got what they got. That's the end of it. You know. And
Well, no, go ahead, man. I didn't mean to interrupt your
no, no,
last
no,
thought.
you okay? Go ahead, go ahead.
Well, what I believe is that, of course, the electoral college is a little messed up, and so it should be popular vote. But at the end of the day, though, it's not. So I believe that, yeah, he probably should be impeached, or he should get in trouble, because of all of the things he's done. But also another thing is this as well, is that did he win with the popular vote? No, but he did. Oh, but he did awaken a lot of like people up though. You get what I mean?
Yeah,
And that's
yeah.
what voted. That's what voted for him. I don't think Russians necessarily helped out with the election. I believe that many racists did vote for him. Just like, well, there was, and people will say, "Oh, racists vote for Hillary too." Yes, indeed, but it's primarily him. There were many people who just voted for him out of spite.
Out of spite, but in the Mueller report, it definitely explains how Russia paid for ads to uprile the racist people in the South a little bit more to push them to the edge. Like I don't know if you've read the whole report.
Oh yeah, yeah. Oh, about
Yeah,
them. Not necessarily that Russians came and like hacked the election, but they did influence a little bit about what's going on. For example, they
yeah.
did have the ads on Facebook, a lot of videos and stuff, a lot of that.
Yes,
Like,
yes, yeah,
okay, well, yeah, of course, there's gonna be, but I feel like that happens a lot though in general. Like they a lot of, but with Trump, I feel like it was many because of how controversial he was.
yeah. I feel as though this is the first time in a presidential election we felt the internet. Like we felt how huge the internet was because before that,
Yeah,
you got 2000 and what uh
12.
12, yeah, 2012, and we felt but Obama was running against what was it? McCain,
Romney,
Mitt Romney,
yeah,
yeah,
Mitt Romney, yeah,
and he wasn't doing no Facebook ads, and Obama was just started pumping in Facebook ads in
and
2000.
Twitter, yeah.
Yeah. I don't know if you know about the Obama. They had the O with the American flag on the tip. That was like hugely branded on Facebook. So
Mm-hmm.
it was like he started it, and then Trump just look. Trump doing most of his campaigning on the internet. Like he's pumping a lot of money into the internet. So I agree. I believe that he won the election smartly. Like I really believe that. I really believe the way that he got his information out to the people, past what Russia did, how much money he actually put into the situation. Yo, he won the election, man, smartly. But I want to ask you, in political science, do they even talk about that hacking and all that stuff?
Sometimes they do, but sometimes some people have decided not to talk about it because of how controversial it is. You get what I mean?
Yeah. Oh wow. Do it
Yeah,
start an uproar?
yeah, like, yeah. Some people will get like outrageous and stuff. Also, one incident that happened was did you watch my video on Facebook in regards to not necessarily, it was like a Trump supporters at my school and stuff, and people got into like a huge fight and like a huge argument. And did you see it on my Facebook, and someone had threw a rock at somebody?
No, I didn't pay attention to it.
Oh
Wow.
God. Okay, I'll have to show it to you, but we do discuss about how like, for example, politics and research. We do discuss about how correlation doesn't relate to causation. You get what I mean? Just because two things correlate doesn't mean one thing is the cause of another. That's something that we learned.
Yeah, I see what you're saying. So, a lot of the things like conspiracy theories, adding this up to this to make it fit and make it bigger than what it is, it has no relationship to. That's what you're trying to kind of say.
Well, no, that's what they say. Like
Oh,
and it depends. In some aspects, yeah, that's true. But we do discuss about how social media in today's world is politics. So there's a lot of politics in social media now. That's what we
yeah.
do discuss about, and does influence. the greater republic, you know, in many aspects, you know.
Yeah. Wow. Yeah. So, I'm fascinated with political science. What made you get into it?
Oh man, so what got me into it was I always had some sort of interest for political science when I was a little kid, and I was always curious, but I was like, I didn't feel like when I was like in high school, I was like, I don't know if I should like run for office, or maybe it's just a dream, maybe I didn't even know there was in high school. I didn't even know there was opportunities in political science. That's kind of one thing I wish I could redo in high school. Like I wish I could have done like some political science, something like a field trip or something, but I didn't feel like I was just going to school and coming back. Like I thought like, okay, I have good grades and I'm gonna be good. But then I realized when I got to university, I was like, damn, I kind of wish I did this, I did that, when I
Yeah.
got to. But what got me into it was just, I think like, first of all, like just traveling. Traveling really gets you to really understand the world in many aspects, and also like what happened to like my other family, not my immediate family, but like my cousins, my other family.
Yeah.
Like they tell me stories about what happened and stuff. So that's what really motivated me. And also I think just my environment too, you know? You get
Yeah.
what I mean?
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
that's yeah. And
So, what you
especially
want
growing up,
to do? Like after political science, like after
I would
you.
oh, go ahead, man. I didn't mean to interrupt
No, no,
your
no, no.
last
You're
thought.
okay. Like after you get like out of college, what do you want to further? Like, what do you want to go into?
I would like to go into law. That is one of my first things to do. I'd like to go into law, maybe go to law school. And I would like to be a lawyer first, either a criminal lawyer or a business lawyer. I'd like to do one of those things.
Damn, man,
And
that's dope, man. That's what's up, man. This is what I'm talking about, man. We need people like that out here, man, fighting for. I mean, having with the mentality that you got, like, don't you're not too much Democrat, you're not too much Republican. You look at the facts, and that's what I try to tell a lot of people today. It's hard to argue with just like just the facts. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I don't want to hear is the economy good or is it not? Is this or is it not? It's like a lot of people try to make it a deeper like argue about things that it's just a political argument. Like, you know what I mean? Like it, Republicans and Democrats been fighting ever since the beginning. We got to understand that as African Americans where we sit in that. But that's dope, man. I like to hear that. That's dope.
thanks, man. Thanks, man. I appreciate it. And I'd also want to create like I am kind of curious. I want to do create kind of my own podcast in the future, and also my own think tank. You know what a think tank is?
No.
It's more like where it's like a database kind of. You want to create where you create and you ask about like thoughts, and for example, you ask like surveys and stuff. I want to create something like that, so I can actually get and a non-biased one too. Like it's
Yeah.
more like
For statistics, like more statistics wise.
yeah, it's like a think factory, it's like a research institute center, kind of like Pew Research and stuff.
Yeah, man. Cause I tell you, I was on a crazy journey this week and I was just researching p hacking. And I don't know if you know what that is. That's like where they changes the
P
scientists
hacking.
change. Yeah. Have you heard
Oh,
of it?
it skews the data. Yeah. It's man, that stuff is crazy, and then they try to abuse it and say something is like statistically significant even though it's not.
Oh, I'm sorry, we lost you on the last part. Say the last part.
Yeah, I heard of it. Like some people were saying, like it talks about how like it's like they try to say it's they want to present it as significant even though it's very insignificant.
Yeah, that's crazy, man. And I started looking through a lot of research and research papers that they was saying that was doing the research, and I'm like, wow, that might not be real. That might not, and it just make you think like how much fake information is actually going around. And this stuff will get people like I don't know if you heard a lot of the information that's going around with Nipsey Hussle and the conspiracy theories with that. And I tend to, even if I believe it or not believe it, I tend to not like to believe stuff from a video. Like when I watch somebody do a video and then and then they're like, "Yo, I believe it. It's a conspiracy." I tend not to like that type of stuff because I feel as though that this is the whole miseducation campaign that's being ran on the internet. Like, it's so much stuff that will make you like people believe that the I don't know if you agree, but people believe that the planet is flat. Like a lot of people
Hmm.
believe that. Like, and it's like it's a whole lot of I call it YouTube and the internet sometimes the wormhole. Because when I was a kid, you had to go to the library. Like, everybody had information off, and I like what's going on now. I mean, everybody had their point of view, but sometimes it might be a little bit too dangerous.
Yeah, because some people abuse that.
Yeah, like Alex Jones. Like everybody say he shouldn't have been took off because of freedom of speech. And I get that argument. But when you have people like I was watching your New Zealand thing and you said Donald Trump wasn't the blame of New Zealand. And I 100% agree with you. It,
Yeah, 'cause if you look at the history of New Zealand, there has always been racism there. It's in the fabric of the society.
yeah, yeah. But how the Democrats tried to sell it was they put Donald Trump on the face of it because of the things that he wrote. Him, Candace Owens, and I'm not a fan of Candace Owens. I'm really not. But he
Yeah,
they they all uplifted them, and it was just amazing, man. It was amazing how the internet can have a mind of its own. It can villainize of somebody. It can make you hate somebody, and it's not even that way. Like, you know what I mean? It's amazing. It's
yeah,
amazing, dude.
yeah. It's really not. And speaking of New Zealand, New Zealand has always had a lot of problems. Though New Zealand isn't like a country that has like flowers everywhere and stuff. New Zealand's always had racial problems and stuff. But
Yeah.
what was interesting was I always found interesting they were saying as if that was the worst mass murder in New Zealand, but what about the murder of the Black Maoris in New Zealand? That there was a massacre like every day.
Damn. Yeah. I even forgot about that type of information. Damn. Yeah, you're right.
Hmm. And
Wow.
I always found it interesting. I wrote a paper about it too, and I was saying how the way they integrate Muslims into or immigrants into society is into New Zealand society. It's not very good. I call it material integration, where they just want them to play rugby or in America football, or they just want them to play sports, and they feel like that's the way to integrate someone. That's not always a true. Like that's a hobby. Like
Yeah.
how do they feel about you? Do they feel welcome? Do they feel accepted? Do they feel respected?
Yeah. They do that in Africa with the French. That's how the French immigrant African people, if they could play soccer good or they could play hockey or rugby, it's amazing how they do that type of stuff. Like, how can you hold immigration to me and make me a French if I could play something good or not? But this is how. That's why I tell people a lot. You know, I disagree with American policies every day, but I'm so happy that we could talk freely because in China, Russia, India, Saudi Arabia, you can't talk
Even
like
even even in France, even in France,
yeah,
you can get killed for speaking freely in France. They have, yeah, for France, even France, which is considered a Western country, they have a lot more different laws than the United States.
yeah. Wow, that's and I didn't even know France. I don't really I pay attention, but not really a lot to France as I should. Yeah, so I didn't know that. That's insane. But I didn't. Do you know like us? Like, all right, everybody was talking about what Farrakhan said on the internet, but if he said that anywhere else, yo, he would be killed. Like, this is
Yeah,
like a real competition. And I was trying to tell people, I'm like, everybody's like, they're trying to take our freedom of speech away, and I'm like, I agree. Well, I don't agree with that, and I'm gonna tell you why. I don't believe that you can have freedom of speech on the internet anyway. How do you
because
feel about
government, yes, government regulated. You can't have anything free in government regulated stuff.
that? Exactly. Yeah. But people argue with me about that all the time. Yo, you should have freedom of speech on the internet, and I'm like, it's their platform. You know, what I mean? At the end
Hmm.
of the day, when you look at it, it's being ran by them. So of course they're gonna want to control what they have to say. Me and my buddy from I don't know if you watched the program called I Think. He has a YouTube page too, and he's out China, and he be having conversations about when he out China and all the things that he can do out there. He's basically was telling me and let me know like I can't really it- freedom of speech out here is not the same as it is in the United States. This is why I feel as though when people be like, go back to your country, go back to Africa when we complain about, I'm like, nah, I'm staying here. I just want to fix certain things. But we gotta stay here to even help Africa or help anything of any other one of our situations. So let me ask you real quick, because I'm staring at this and I know we talked about it before the show. Do you think Joe Biden has a chance?
Yeah, I believe he does, but do you know who he's gonna have a chance with?
Who?
A lot of racists. That's how I believe.
Yep. Yep.
Hmm.
He he
Yeah.
already sold that.
Hmm. And he every time if you really analyze Joe Biden's talking points, there are many times where he's just a full-fledged clan member. To be honest, like that.
He is.
That's how I view him as. Like for example, did you watch that video about him talking about AIDS in Delaware or whatever?
Yeah. Yeah.
He
Yeah.
was like he was like Barack and I had AIDS testing, and he was like pointing at Barack, and Barack was like I don't know what you're talking like he just doesn't know what he's saying, you know.
Like he's so. I, but this is what I said. This is why I get mad at Democrats sometimes. They rolled out all these people like Kamala Harris, Cory Booker, Pete Buttigieg. I mean, they rolled out all the people, but look at who's the front runner: Joe Biden and Bernie Sanders. And I'm just like, yo, Joe Biden don't have good policies for African Americans. He listen, everybody else talking about reparations, they talk about the wealth gap. Joe Biden don't want to have that conversation. That's why I believe, like you said, he's gonna win against with them racist white people in Iowa and down there in the South, Florida, and
In
Texas,
California.
yeah, California. How, do you think that he's gonna win it where you at? Or you think Trump is heavy out there?
Let me see. I believe. Let me see. I need to see the stats. I think half and half. You never know because some people like I know there's a lot of racists in California, so I believe I believe in many ways he might be able to beat Trump. You know,
Yeah, I think so too. Do you think
and
that
also
Trump? Go ahead.
no. What was the last question? Because I don't want you to forget something.
Oh no, I was gonna change it. Like, do you think that Trump can beat him?
Yes and no. It depends. The thing with the Democratic racists that's different from the Republican racists is that they will the Democratic racists will also manipulate some blacks into voting for them, you know?
Yup, yup. They've been
And
doing it for
and
years.
many Hispanics too. For example, Hispanics are about 39-40% of California, but there's also statistics that there's some skewed statistics. You remember how you talked about earlier about data dredging or whatever, or
Yeah,
dredging, P
yeah.
hack. So I believe I'll just say to be fair, I'll just conserve the number. I'll say 46%. And 46, okay, 48%, okay? 48% of California is Hispanic. Okay? So if around two-thirds of Hispanics or more vote Democrat. So that's about like, let me see, 32. So 48, and then divide that into three, and then 16 times two, that's 32. So 32% of the whole population will vote about Democrat, and then you'll add in a few white, a few Asians, Asians even vote at a higher number too. You add them and then add whatever about blacks or yeah, there's not a lot of black people in California, I'm gonna be honest. Same with Native Americans.
Wow.
We're yeah, did you know that or no?
No, I didn't know that.
Yeah, no, yeah, there's not a lot of black people to be honest in California. So, yeah, so I think he might win Joe Biden, unless people just protest heavily.
Yeah. Damn. So let me ask you something. Do you see a lot of like how they said like Mexicans that's moving in California?
Yes, yes, I do, but many Mexicans have always been here to be honest, and many of the Mexicans didn't move directly from Mexico. Some of them moved from Texas before moving to California.
Yeah, I heard that. Like that's what, and they keep saying like the more and more the facts is skewed. Like I don't know if you're hearing a new thing. Like I don't know if you hear he starts to he say actually a lot of people started denying it down in Florida and stuff. So they said they're not gonna do that. But they saying uh the immigrants that was in Texas or whatever, they was getting overran. So he was thinking about putting them on a plane, busting them out of there, and taking them to other cities and states where though they can accommodate them. Do you believe it's a national? I think it. I think it is. Like I don't know. I believe anytime you get in that many people coming to the border at that much times,
Oh, the
you have
caravans?
yeah, yeah. I think that you got to do something about it, and this is where I think that Democrats is kind of being facetious about certain situations because we understand that Democrats, especially Bill built the wall. So
Mm-hmm.
I mean, Obama wanted to build more of the wall. So, and this is just bills that was trying to be passed. So when you hear them fighting Trump about building some more of the wall, it's a political fight. I think that they have to do something about fixing Central America. I believe that we should have been put some money in Central America because of the issues that they have, and especially when half of our no, all of their almost all of their guns come from us. I don't know if you
Mm-hmm.
have you seen that statistic where though they have guns that our guns, illegal guns, is making it down to Central America, sometimes cases of South America. That's insane.
Yeah, no, it really is insane because they're funding a lot of the political conflicts in not necessarily in Guatemala and El Salvador, but like in Honduras, Nicaragua, no, not Costa Rica, but it's mostly in Honduras and Nicaragua. Sometimes in Guatemala and El Salvador. Belize is pretty stable from what I hear. But then again, do you think Belize is pretty stable or no?
A lot of friends that's in Central America because of where I work, and they tell me Belize is pretty stable. They even tell me even though Colombia is so close to Venezuela, some parts of Colombia is very stable. And
Yeah.
damn. But yeah, I don't really hear too much good about Central America. But do you think that it's our responsibility to go down there and help them? Because a lot of people I talk to say no.
Well, I mean, if you ask the American government, why do we support Israel? People will say like a million things, like, and people will treat Israel like a god. So, and I mean, Israel's like very far away from the U.S. So, I mean, and the Latin America is pretty close to the U.S. So, I would say, in a sense, it would probably be cheaper to help our own neighbors. You
Exactly.
know?
Yeah, we could probably a lot of the steel and stuff that we wanted to get from other places. We could get it from Mexico, and we could put jobs in Mexico. Like that's what a lot of the things that's China doing. China's building a BRI, the Belt Road Initiative, and I don't know if you
Mhm.
have you been paying attention to that, but we can kind of build the situation here in South America and North America to help us expand our our trading. so we won't have to continue to trade with China. Because a lot of things that Trump say about China, I believe it. Now I believe that Trump is trying to shut down free market. So, you're not going to have 100 places to buy one thing at. You're going to have more like two places to buy one thing at. And that's going to make the thing go up a lot. So it depends on what you're trying to buy. I think that Trump is trying to shut that down, especially what he's doing with the cell phone companies, the tariffs, and all this stuff. But if we had a better relationship with South America and North America, man, this thing will be it will be so much easier with trading than it is with getting our goods from China. We can help a country that's next to us, and we can stop the caravans from coming in. Because believe me, we're paying for this.
Yeah, I agree because a lot of the business owners want cheap labor, you know.
Yeah, yeah.
And if you think about it, they're going a lot of undocumented immigrants are going to six major metropolitan. This is by design, and the six major metropolitan areas are New York City, Chicago, Illinois, the Chicago metro area, Detroit, and San Diego area, Los Angeles area, and San Jose area.
Wow.
And that's by design, and that's in order to get cheap labor. You get what I mean?
Yeah, yeah. Damn, man. And and that's the stuff that I'll be talking about. It'd be like it's so much information out here, and what CNN and they do. This is why I started like podcasts like 3 years ago, because I was noticing like what CNN was doing, like the CNN, Fox, and even some of the newspapers like Washington Post and New York Post, they was selling it one way. Like it was either Democratic or it was Republican. It was nobody that was right down the middle. Like it was nobody that was just honest. Like you know what I mean? Like I don't think that you could always get somebody to vote for something, but you can get them to trust your information, especially if you're a news outlet. Like you gotta have them trust your information. And a lot of things that like I believe Hillary Clinton should be in trouble. Like I said that from the beginning. I believe Hillary Clinton should be in trouble. Now I understand Donald Trump is the president of the United States, so that's why we should deal with him. But a lot of the things that Hillary Clinton did, whew, it's very ugly. It's very a bad situation. Like the still dossiers and all that. Like her being investigated 100 million times. And like, do you think she'll ever be president?
She might. You never know, man. I mean, it's very undecisive, in
Yeah,
regards to who would win an election, who wouldn't,
yeah, you're right.
I would.
Go ahead.
Yeah. It all depends, if she plays her cards right or not,
Yeah, I was disappointed in the last election, and I was disappointed on her and how far she got. And then you see why Trump won because like people just didn't show up.
Yeah. But that shows how that they need to really need to re-examine why they lost.
Yeah, yo, the Democrats really. I've been saying that from the beginning. Like, yo, how do you feel about them not even paying attention? Like Joe Biden, he's going out in the street and he's putting out all these. He hitting the campaign hard, running on the streets, but that's not the place to campaign at. The place to campaign at it is on the internet.
Yeah, internet, town hall, schools,
Yeah,
not just random places and stuff all of a sudden.
yeah, yeah. Like Philadelphia is his base, and I I get what he's doing, but I'm like, this is not the place to do it. This is not the place to do it. And the arguments. I want to have you. You know, we could do this a lot, man. Like the next time, if we figure it out, we could do it on your show. But I want to
Definitely.
definitely talk to you about the abortion thing, man. And
Yeah.
this thing is really heating up. So I know a lot. a lot of people disagree with me on a lot of things that happen with abortion, but do you think that the are you pro life or are you well? How do you feel about the term pro life or are you abortion? Like, do you believe in that whole thing?
w- my thing is I am to an extent pro-life, but my feeling is this is that you have to be pro if you say, oh, we're going to be pro-life for the baby to be birthed, okay, then you should also be pro-life for the baby to be taken care of as well and make sure he's raised in a nurturing environment as well. You know, you can't just be like, oh yeah, he or she, the baby has to be born, but he's is suffering, you know, it has like so many diseases, you know, it's it can't function when they reach a certain age. You know, it's like, dang, like they're almost like a Walking Dead. You get what I mean? In
Yeah,
that sense.
yeah, yeah. So it's crazy. Well, I guess so. So you disagree with the Democrats all the way on this, or do you? Would you approve of abortion up to about like 4 to 5 weeks, or would you say how far do you think abortion? Well, you don't want abortions, right?
It's not I don't want to. It just all depends on the circumstance. You know, like some circumstance, yeah, you have to. It has to be aborted. You
Okay.
know, like for example, like a rape or whatever. But sometimes, here's what I'll say is that also I feel like people have to be more caring. You know, toward another. I feel like if if people were more willing to take care of one another and love one another and take care of each other's kids, you know, not necessarily adopt, but like just help out, you know, like raise money to help out like a single mother and stuff, our society would be a lot more better, you know?
Yeah, yeah, and and you're right because that's the one reason why that's the one reason why I will always say, like, you know what I mean, that always get people because of capitalism. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it's a bitch. Like, I don't think that people will have abortions willy nilly if they really could not live with the baby. Now, I know a lot of people telling me, well, you know, you should put on a condom. And, you know, I'm the person of whatever happening now is happening. So if you're in this situation right now, I can't tell you what you should have done. You know what I mean? But I'm so I'm so I'm so for abortion. I can't see it no other way. So sometimes I get yelled at a lot because I'm up to 9 months. Like you can have abortion right before, and I know that that's what New York was saying, but a lot of people was getting mad at that, and it's because of yo people. This world is ugly. I've been at every part of it, and I know that a lot of people have too. But you know what I mean, just being down on your luck and just yo 1 month you thought you could could care for the baby, the next month the situation is not even the same. So you know, I get everybody's situations, man, and I'll just be like, yo, man, I don't know, especially people in Capitol Hill. I don't know what they issue is to cause this type of situation inside. We're not living by everybody keeps saying about the Bible. We're not living by the days of the Bible. Capitalism has took over. I don't know if you read the Bible. I think one of the biggest things that Jesus was talking about is not letting capitalism happen, and that's what happened. We in a machine that runs this world. I mean, you got to pay for the child. You got to pay for this. You got to pay for that. You got to pay for a birth certificate. You got to pay for
Pay
this.
for diapers, you gotta pay for everything.
It's no more a baby is carefree like how it was like inside certain times. Like this will cost you a lot of money, and I get it. You should have worn a condom. You should, but yo, every day being in a poor situation, people make mistakes. Just being uneducated, people make mistakes. Believe me, I was a dumb kid, not knowing that you know if you busting a girl, she might get pregnant because it's just where I lived at, the schools that you go to, the environment you around. Is you even going to school? You know what I mean? So I mean like you I judge people in the circumstances that they're in. You know what I mean? And the circumstances is very, very dangerous nowadays, man. Where people the Bible is a long gone issue, man. And what's happening is now. And for them to control don't want a baby or not. It's just like what Cory Booker said. He's trying to give incentives to people that have babies. So if you have a baby, I'm gonna give you $1,000. You know what I mean? So
Exactly.
yeah, yeah. So you can have. So I bet you more people will have babies, and then what will Republicans be saying that? Oh, well, they're having babies for money, and it's like, oh, but that's what you was pro life, and
Yeah.
people need help with pro life in this capitalism world because they don't. If this baby falls and breaks his ankle, first of all, the person got to take off for work. That's
Hmm.
number one. Like, like, and we're living check to check. Like, and this is just not African Americans. They said Americans as a whole of 2019 don't have more than $500 in their bank account. Like, so, and this is the like 60% of Americans. So this is why I say it's like, yo, man, we gotta, man, before we could even talk about whether a person should have a baby or not, I would love to have conversations about this more. Man, we got to talk about what is the circumstances they living in.
Yeah, like I agree. It just all depends on circumstances, you know?
Yeah.
Like it's not necessarily like, oh, they want to do it or something like that, you know? It's just the circumstance that lead to that situation. If we could avoid the circumstances that lead to the situation, then I believe that we would have a more prosperous society as a whole, you know?
Yeah, man, I believe that. I believe that, man, because man, we could help people out more. Man, this world will be different. But you look at it. I've been telling people how they was going to take food stamps away, and they're taking them away from people. And I understand, man. People should not be on food stamps, but we're not giving these people no type of other options. And I talk to a lot of people. Like I'm gonna say it again, Leo Dunson. Me and him actually is doing a show together. Man, we probably
Oh,
should get
nice.
all of us in there. Yeah. Yeah, we
Yeah,
I
definitely,
see how
man.
this work. Yeah, yeah, yeah. So we can do like a three-way show. But yeah, we was doing a show or whatever, and we were supposed to do a show, and you
Hmm.
know, and the reason why I bring them up because they're young African Americans, but they stand on a lot of times like I like to ask you why do you stand on that side, not the to condemn you or nothing. It's just like just why, like you know what I mean? Because everybody don't think alike, and this is one thing I learned from just being around you. Nobody is not going to 100% agree because a lot of people is not living in the same circumstances everybody else is. So when I
Yeah.
talk to a lot of them, I see why they think like that. You know what I mean? And it's not saying it's a bad thing or good thing. It's just I understand why you think like that.
Yeah, no, I agree. Like I understand why a lot of people think the way they do, you know? It doesn't mean I agree with them, it just means I understand their point of view, which isn't a bad thing, you know?
Yeah, especially like especially like you being like political science and stuff like that. I would see why you see why everybody think because you have an open mind. 'Cause you can sit there and listen to both sides of the argument and be like, oh well, I agree with that. And people get pretty frustrated with me, especially Democrats, because when I first came out, everybody thought I was a hardcore Democrat because of some of the things that I was saying about Trump. But I was like, whoa, 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 let's not, you know, I say horrible things about Nancy Pelosi thing too. Like you know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like,
no, no, I agree.
I really dislike Nancy Pelosi, and and that's one thing I want everybody to understand. I'm not going to be quiet because she might be on the good side and this might be the bad side. No, I feel as though that politics need to run the right way. Like this is the way that it needs to run, man. And let me ask you your opinion on this. I believe as African Americans, it's our job to get more people in the race. Like people like you, man. Like I know a lot of political people start off as lawyers, but you got a background in political science as in now, and you're 22 years old. That's a beautiful thing, man.
Thank you.
31. I'm gonna be 31. Maybe when you get this age or you get past this, you're like 35, 40. Man, maybe I want to run for something, or maybe I want to do this. And you understand. Like you see what I'm saying?
Yeah, yeah, no, no. I understand. My only problem with running is I would love to run, but as what party, like I feel like both parties will dislike what I say, and many of the people in the party will curse me out and probably like beat me up or something or try to defeat my character
Yeah.
or I might end up like missing or something. So what should I do in regards to running as a future when I'm a little bit older? Should I
Man,
run maybe as an independent, Green Party, Libertarian,
well,
Reform Democrat, Reform Republican? Like, what should I do? Like a Reformation for both? Well, like, what should I do? American Reformation Party or something? I don't know. You get what I mean?
yeah, man. I would see. It's I don't like the Democratic Party. I understand, and I don't like progressive, liberal. Like I understand, but I think some of the things we have we kind of fit more to Democrat
Yeah,
than Republican. Because at the end of the day, Republicans look at the bottom line number. Like if you ain't financially doing something amazing for them, ain't gonna work.
yeah, yeah. No, I agree. Yeah. So, yeah, I don't know. I agree. Yeah, for the most part, yeah. No, maybe some Democrats do. We have do Democratic ideas for the most part. Yeah, but I feel like one thing as well is we do need to be armed as well. You know what I mean? Like no
Absolutely.
group of people, no group of people can be sufficient without arming yourself. You get what I mean?
Now that you talked about that, let me just ask you: do you believe that um, the African American gun holder, is under attack more than any other person in the United States?
Oh yes, no, I 1,000% agree with that. Like that was the main purpose for gun control in California in the Bay Area
Absolutely.
because they were so afraid of. I mean, of course, there were black women as well that were carrying guns in California too. Don't get wrong, but they were so afraid. They got so spooked out that they put the strictest gun laws in 1968 to this day, and it still affects California and the whole nation as a whole because they were so afraid of black people defending themselves. It was such a small number at that, you
Damn,
know.
man.
They were so afraid and they got so spooked out. But that's how powerful though, like an armed society is.
Yeah, yeah. I think that they understand that the the society get out of control on them. And me and my friend talked about this a lot. I don't because everybody was like, I made a statement a long time ago. It was about probably like 3 years ago, 3 or 2 years ago. It was on my podcast, and I said, you know, we should not. I think we should go with gun control. And the reason why I was making a statement because I want a lot of people my people to be like, yo, the reason why I made the gun control statement, and I say this in a lot of my shows now, is because gun control really don't affect us. Like it does, but the way that they control guns, like our killings and shootings is done with illegal handguns. They want to
Exactly.
control uh
Legal. They want to control the people that can actually defend our society.
exactly, exactly. So it's a different argument. They want to control people that can actually the way you actually can get a gun. Like that's a different conversation, and I want people to understand that our guns comes from illegal buyers or illegal sellers. That's how our guns is, and we
It's a black market. Yeah, it's a black
yeah,
market.
black market. Yeah, yeah, yeah. You know what I mean? So they want to control when you walk into a store how easy it is for you to get that gun. That's what they want, and that's the argument. Because I know in Pennsylvania, right? For in order for me to get a gun, I got to go down to the police station in my local neighborhood, apply for a gun
Hmm.
license. They gonna send it to City Hall. City Hall calls you back in about like 6 to 7 months and tell you it's you. Can you get the gun? Now, if I drive 4 miles to Montgomery County, right? And I live there. It could take me a gun a day to get a gun, the gun license. It could take me a day to get a gun license. Literally, I could go in there and apply for the gun license. They give it to me in the same day. They run my information and give me the gun in the same day. So it's different when I'm living around niggas than when I'm living around white people. And that is just the honest guy truth. So that's why I always say, yeah, it just depends on where you live at. Like they will, if you live in a big city next to, now I don't know how is it out there for a gun license. I don't know out there, but I know that's how it is in Pennsylvania.
Well, I mean, California is not a good place for to get a gun. I'm just gonna be honest,
Wow.
man.
Why you say that?
um, it's really stacked up against. It's really stacked up in regards to the Democratic legislatures and stuff, and also as well. There's also a racial component too in regards to being a black gun owner in that. So it's really hard, especially if you're in the outskirts of Sacramento County, or like outside of Sac County in the Sac area. It's very tough. They might be a little bit more conservative, but it's still very tough.
Wow. So do you know a lot of people out there that got legal guns or just to get any like okay, like in Philadelphia, a gun license is so you can walk around with a gun. But you can still buy a gun, but you just can't walk around with it. Is it kind of like that out there?
No, you can't. It's very hard. It's very hard to get a gun. Like I only know very few people that have that type of weaponry on them, like it's very rare. And a lot of people just talk a lot on the internet too. Like I know a lot of people that say like a lot of stuff too, that say, oh, rah rah rah, like they have that rah rah type mentality. They talk about like the Second Amendment, they love it, but they never get guns. And power to them, like it's like you can be pro guns without buying a gun yourself.
Yeah, yeah. Wow.
But I did have a few friends that did have it, and they had it legally, but like it's very rare. And even then, like they still like there's people that try to do you dirty. Like people that work with like that have like ulterior motives, like roommates and stuff. They try to do a lot of things to put dirt on you.
Yeah, wow. Wow. So damn, so man, I can't even imagine that not having I know everybody out here got guns. Either you got them legally or you got them illegally. Like I own about like 4 guns, like legally though. But because it's easy to get a gun, like I don't have to have a gun license to go inside there and buy a gun. They give it to me. And I got like a DUI, I got like 2 DUIs, I got like a whole background, you know what I mean, drug background, and they still give me a gun. But I might can't get a gun license to carry the gun around. You know what I mean?
Yeah, so that is much more progressive in a way than the
Yeah.
California laws. At least the California laws is it's very hard for you to even own one.
Wow, man, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
See, I knew how it was in certain places because I do like Florida and like Delaware and like Jersey and New York. Like I know how it is, but that's for me to hear that California for it's. See, I thought that you could always own one, but you just couldn't carry it around. But for me, it's hard to get one. That's
It's very hard to get one, and that's why there have been so many
I
protests
couldn't
in
sleep at
California in
night.
regards to guns. Even many leftists, they're getting a lot of them are getting very tired of this nonsense. They were protesting against. There was a group around. I don't even remember. It was from a long time ago. I think late 80s, 90s, around that time. There was a group called the White Panthers. It's a leftist organization, but they were having enough of this gun control nonsense. They were protesting in San Francisco City Hall on the daily basis. They were not having that nonsense.
Wow, man, I
Yeah.
couldn't live without a gun.
Yeah, no, I agree, man. And you're very lucky to live in a state like Pennsylvania. Like I know Pennsylvania's got problems, yes indeed, but it is much better than other states.
Yeah. Yeah, cause I couldn't even just. I know I keep saying that I couldn't even imagine going to sleep. I got all my kids in here, man. I got and just not being able to just feel like that I couldn't protect my kids at a blink of the eye, like because I mean, in Philadelphia, home invasions is a everyday thing. Like they will come in
Hmm.
your house and make you lay on the ground and take your stuff. Like this is what happens, and it's just that's insane, man. That's insane. Like stuff like that. I think that people like Democrats has took it too far. Like with that, like yo, you have to give somebody the right to be able. Now carrying around is different. For you to carry outside, that's different. But the right to protect their home, you got to give them the right.
Yeah. Yeah, and it's because the education system in California is not that well. You know, it doesn't really create very well-rounded people. That's the bad thing about the education system here. You know, they assume here that guns equal more crime. You know,
Yeah, yeah, and
which
I
which is not always the case because that's the thing, like I was saying earlier, man, about correlation and causation. You know, just because two things correlate with each other doesn't mean one is the cause of another, you know?
exactly, man. So guns create more crime, but they're not even thinking about more people that got guns is the more that and listen, I know because people would chew me up and stuff. So are you good with people having guns in schools, teachers having guns in schools? That's a different conversation.
Yeah,
Like you said, the same what you say correlation and what you just said.
causation.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
Well, teachers, that's such another argument. Okay. So we're gonna talk about defending your homes, and then people are gonna say, "Oh, what do you think about teachers with guns?" Hold on, slow the roll now. Like that's another discussion. Okay, everyday people have rights to defend their homes. That's your property. You know, at school it's a little bit different. You know, like there are many teachers with a lot of personal problems. You know, sometimes it could be racial problems. Maybe sometimes it could be just mentally instability. You know, there's many regards to that. So in that case, no. But I do believe that maybe a neighborhood militia or something can defend the school. You know,
yeah,
from enemies or something. You know, and like I trust like people in my own neighborhood more than what I would trust maybe someone as a teacher or even like a school police officer. I don't believe in school police officers. So I believe in in just people defending. You know, like there are many homeless veterans on the street that would love to defend schools. You know, that would love to get paid. You know, to defend the schools. You know, so I
yeah.
mean, so let them come and get some jobs. You know.
You're absolutely right, man. Like that's crazy. Like that's why you're right. Like sometimes I have so much of the ridiculous arguments for people, and they'd be like, "What?" Like, I like especially on Facebook, and I run a lot of Facebook ads in Iowa, and the reason why I do it, the reason why everybody's why you do that, the reason why I do it is because when you run Facebook ads in places where you know it's racist, you will see the issue of what they believe. So I've run an ad that was talking about reparations. African Americans should have reparations. And oh my God, man, it was so many people that just crucifying me. Like, man, where's this money gonna come from? It's gonna make black people more lazier. And I really heard how some of these, and this is why another reason why I talk about Republicans, the Republican base is very, very racist, man. And I I it's horrible. And this is why I'm not a fan of Joe Biden because he has that same base.
Hmm. Yeah, no, it's pretty much two sides of the same coin in my opinion.
Yeah.
And when you talk about like reparations stuff, it doesn't they always make it as if like it's just money and stuff. No, that's not true. What
Yes.
like it can be through land industry, you know? There was land that was belonged to black Americans all over the southern United States, all the way from Delaware to Florida, from Kentucky to Mississippi, from Oklahoma to Texas, you know?
Yeah.
That whole region.
That-
So in order for the region to prosper again, and people always talk, it's always funny how I always find this interesting about some Republicans, how they always discuss about Chicago in regards to black people, but 55% of black people live in the southern United States. You know, if you care so much about black people, why don't you discuss about land industries in the southern United States, you know?
Yeah,
That's how I feel. That's how I feel about it, you know?
you're right. Like
And
like
also, no, go ahead, man. I didn't
no
mean
no no
to.
no. Go ahead, go ahead, go ahead. You got to
Saying
make a
this,
point.
also there's a mass exodus from like earlier from the six metro areas that I discussed about in regards to black people. You know, Bay Area, San Diego, L.A., Chicago, Detroit, New York, and many of them are moving to the south, or they're moving to Philadelphia and other mid-sized cities. So if you really care about it, maybe you should care about the opportunities there. You get what I mean?
Yeah, man. And I'm starting to see that too. Like a lot of black people is moving down to the south, and I was even talking about it too because of land. I was like, man, we can move
Yeah.
down to the south because the land is cheaper, and
Hmm.
the more and more I understand how this world is ran, the more and more I understand. And believe me, I made a lot of mistakes at young, so I'm understanding at 31, because just because of the schooling situation I've been through, just the more and more I understand that, and then you understand like, yo, damn, this is the issue why everything's is happening. We have to expand our ways around this world than just staying mass populated in one place. So this is why we're going to the south, because there's more opportunities in the south. This is why we're going inside, because there's more opportunities in there. And man, look at all the tax breaks in the south. Look at all the tax breaks in Iowa if you had a farm. So
Exactly. Exactly.
yeah, so if reparations is way more than money, I don't even like to even speak about money. I like to speak about better education. I like to speak about
Exactly.
land. Just like you said, us owning 100% of our neighborhoods. Because man, I have Chinese and poppy stores all over my neighborhood. I don't know how it is in Sacramento, but in African American neighborhood, we don't own nothing.
In Sacramento, it is different because there are no actual like neighborhoods that are majority black. They're more plurality. You know, like at the most it's like 39%, and then there are other groups as well there too.
Oh wow! So y'all been what is called regenification. Y'all already been through that.
Not necessarily. Well, I don't think there was just many to begin with, and also I feel like it is more a little bit more integrated. You know, I feel like that as well. You know, because they've always been living there. For example, in South Sacramento, a neighborhood called Meadowview, there have always been because blacks and Hispanics did migrate there at the same time from Texas, so they've always been there since like the 50s and 60s. You follow what I mean?
Yeah, yeah, I understand. Damn.
So yeah, so it is also that, and then also there were in many neighborhoods, for example, in Del Paso Heights, there were also Southeast Asians too. I don't know. Are you in your area in Philadelphia? Like I know you have many Cambodians as well. Like, did you have many Cambodians in Philadelphia?
I didn't hear the last part. I'm sorry, it cut out. Say it again.
Vietnamese and Cambodians. Were there many Vietnamese and Cambodians in Philadelphia?
So yeah, it is, but we got a lot of places that's called Chinatown, and I
Exactly.
see so many like Vietnamese and Cambodia, and I know the difference. But a lot of my friends, like it's just a Chinese person, they don't really know the difference. But it's totally a difference between. I'm happy that you said that. Yeah, but no, it's not inside the neighborhoods though. No, no, like
Oh, so they don't share neighborhoods with you, huh? They don't
no,
share. Oh, okay.
no.
That's a difference. For example, in Sacramento and in Stockton as well, Southeast Asians relatively share neighborhoods with us to some degree. You know, they do integrate with us somewhat well. Now, what I will say about in regards to Chinese, Japanese, Mongolians, and Russians, they do. I feel like they have a an imperialistic mindset, so they don't really associate with us. You get what I mean?
Yeah, wow, wow. So
Hmm.
let me ask you, how do the ones that do share neighborhood? I know you said some of them don't associate, but is there any tension anytime?
With Vietnamese and Cambodians and Laotians, actually, they're very good. Like they integrate well. Like they intermix with us. They play basketball with us. They talk with us. They're they stand by us. You know, which
Yeah.
is good.
Any
Which is
stores? Like, do they have their own stores? Because that's what we.
there's actually. There's actually one in Del Paso Heights. It's called Jimmy's Hmong and Soul Food Cuisine. So it's like Hmong mixed with Black American soul food as well. It's
Wow.
Hmong cuisine, so it's pretty good in that sense, you know.
Yeah, see, we got a lot of Chinese stores out here. That's all.
Oh,
That's the
wow,
only
yeah,
reason why they in our neighborhood is Chinese stores. Like
wow.
I could go like in one neighborhood we might have like five, six Chinese stores. In a 7 block radius, we probably got like four Chinese stores. And this is the things that we talk about taking back our own neighborhoods. But this is what I like to tell people when they talk about national. It's not national. It's just certain places of where you live at has dealt with certain things like East Coast. I know in New York they have issues with Dominican stores and African American neighborhoods. We
Hmm.
have Chinese stores and Puerto Rican stores. In Jersey is Puerto Rican stores, and you know what I mean. So everything is just different. Just depend on where you live at. It's
Yeah,
amazing.
but I will say this though. I'm not saying there aren't any problems in Sacramento. Maybe there are problems with different demographics. You know, for example, you were saying in regards to Dominicans and said Dominicans in the West Coast are very integrative here. You understand? Oh, did you hear what I said?
Yeah, I heard the you said Dominicans of the West Coast is very integrated.
Yeah, yeah, to the neighborhoods, you know, they aren't like
Okay.
they yeah, like and I believe maybe there could be the factor that there's not a lot of Dominican influence in California, but you know, but even in the areas in California that have like maybe like 2%, 3% Dominican, which is still higher than the national average, it, they integrate very well into the community, you know?
Wow. Yeah. Yeah.
But but I will say maybe the problem maybe is with maybe many Russians, I would say. Maybe Russians are owning stores in Sacramento, you know, in black areas, you know. Then there's also many immigrants from Central Asia, which was colonized by Russia, and they look and a lot of Russians look down on people from like Kazakhstan, Uzbekistan, and stuff, and they obviously look down, and the Russians look down on blacks. So there's obviously that tensions too. I remember there was a lot of racial incidents in regards to Russians harassing some Russians, not all. I'm not gonna say, it, but many racist Russians harassing blacks, harassing the Central Asians and stuff. I remember that.
Yeah, man, that's crazy, man. And that's the type of stuff I like to. I always be like, yo, like man, like all over is different. Like Russians, the only thing they control up here is the numbers. They control numbers. But uh, I gotta I gotta get out of here, man. I got a lot to do tonight, man. I gotta get out of here. Uh, can you give everybody your information where you at, man? I gotta do a show on your page when I learn more how to work this. Even if I gotta do it on my phone, man, we gotta do a show together, man. We gotta do a little bit more of these. Can you give everybody your information, man? And I appreciate you coming on, man.
Hey, no problem, man. Okay, so the YouTube channel is the Teodros Show, and you can follow me on Instagram at Teodros15. That's Theodros15, and also that's the same with my Twitter handler as well, and also SoundCloud and then Facebook as well. I will put my Facebook name too. It's very long, so just Isaiah, can you do me a favor and put that in the description box?
Yeah, no problem. I will can you send me everything that you want me to put in the description box and I go ahead and throw it in the description box when I upload it again. So I fix the upload and put everything in the description box. And I
Okay,
tag
definitely,
your show
man.
in it.
Okay, definitely, man. That sounds good, man. I appreciate it. And also, are you gonna post it on Facebook too? You should post this on
Yes.
Facebook
Yes.
as
I
a
actually
video.
got it on the messenger page and I'm gonna post it on Facebook tonight and I send it to everything by a messenger.
Okay, man. That sounds good. All right, then, man. I'll send you links and then let's get to it, man. We'll do another one very soon. Okay, man.
Yes, sir, man. I appreciate it, man. I appreciate the love, man. And yo, man, stay up, man. And that's good, man. I'm really rooting for you, man.
All right. Thank you, man. I appreciate it, and have a blessed day, man.
You too.
All right, see you. Bye.
So y'all, we gonna get out of here, man. I'm happy to tell y'all that that was my bull, man. I really, really like talking to new people on the platform on the show. Uh, more and more, I get a little bit bigger, man. I have more people coming, and see, brother was from Sacramento, man, and this is just it opens up the lines of communication all over the world, and this is what I'm talking about, man. I appreciate the love from the brother, and I appreciate everybody that watched, man. Just show love, so hit the like, subscribe to the page, do anything you could possibly do. This is your boy Isaiah Tilson, IT News, It News, whatever you want to call it. Just call it something. Appreciate it, y'all.